Hello, my lovely friends. It's me again, and it is time for a tale, a story, a nice guy story. Oh, yeah. This is from Reddit user Routine Lurker. I like your name. This is a heck of a title. This is I talked to this guy for a couple of hours, and now he wants to move across country to quote unquote be together. That's a lot. I don't know where this is about to go, but I have some ideas, and all of them are like red flags. Just absolutely no. Let's see what we have here, kids. Let's get into this together. In other words, a lesson in being too forgiving with men being weird. A few days ago, I got a friend request from this guy. I didn't immediately recognize him, but we had a few mutuals, and I saw he was LDS. Oh boy. So I figured the worst that would happen is I get a message about joining the church or whatever. He messaged me later that night to ask how I was doing, and I responded. We have a relatively superficial and casual conversation. Nothing alarming goes on. He brings up school and tells me that he's wanting to transfer to a BYU school in my state. I was like, oh, cool. I basically know nothing about that school other than Mormons. And he tells me, haha, that's fine. I figured it'd be nice to know someone in that area. And yeah, I agreed, since he'd be moving almost halfway across the country if he transferred. The conversation ended there for the night. The next day, I get a good morning message from him, and again, we have a casual conversation of, hey, how are you? I'm doing okay. You? Oh, same. That's about it. And this is where it gets weird. He asked if I had any plans for the day. He told me that he had plans to see a friend. Then he told me not to worry, he wasn't seeing a girl. Awkward? I was like, okay, weird, but I figured it was just a one-off comment. It was not. He continued to send me similar reassurances throughout the day. He let me know that he was going to the store, but don't worry, he was with family. I didn't get a text from him for a few hours, and he tells me he took a road trip, but don't worry, he was with his guy friends. He sends me a good night message and tells me he's spending the night at a friend's, but don't worry, there's no girls around. Then he told me he was happy God put me in his life. Mind you, this was literally after the second time we talked ever. This boy racing. That's... oh, wow. I told him that I wasn't worried because there was nothing to be worried about, and I reminded him that this was literally the second time we've ever had a conversation with each other. I thought that'd get him to back off, but then Valentine's Day comes around and he asks me how it went for me. And then he says that he wishes we could have been together in my state. I told him point blank that I was not looking for a relationship, and he says, that's fine, let's just remain faithful and honest, and we'll see where things go. Ugh, I stopped responding after that. Anyway, all this happened over the span of 3 days. I knew Mormons had a tendency to move fast, but damn, dude. So, we have a little comment chain here that I want to share as well. I'm not going to share names, obviously, but I just wanted to read it to you all. This person says, I was raised in the LDS church. My relationship with it is best described as complicated now, mostly because I'm very queer. And we literally refer to BYUI as BYU I do. My parents at one point kind of tried to get me to go, and I went off on them a bit. Not angrily, but firmly. I told them I was going to college for an education, not to get married. They weren't actually too bad about it, fortunately, but some people in the church are really hardcore about get married, make babies, and, well, there are two reasons people choose BYUI: to find a spouse and a cheap tuition. I had a point, but ADHD brain lost it. Sorry you went through all that, I'm glad it didn't turn out worse. And OP responds, I did not know that about BYUI. And Moonhorse interjects, I didn't either. I learned something today, and it was really weird. I guess if he ever does transfer, he'll hopefully find a spouse there and stop bothering random women on Facebook. To which the other person says, yeah, it's common for people to go there and end up married pretty quickly. I hope he stops bothering people, but I also hope he's just awkward and not, dangerous. Wouldn't want anyone to marry someone toxic or crazy possessive or anything. Hopefully this is just a case of a young dude with little experience dating, which is likely if he was just getting ready to start BYUI. He probably recently came home from his mission, and he likely never dated anyone seriously in high school. And OP says, I felt like he was more so just an awkward young dude with little dating experience, or maybe just little dating experience outside of Mormons, versus anything dangerous, but again, you never really know. I will say that he seemed a little older than someone who just got home from mission, or was just looking to start school. He mentioned that he was finishing up his associate's degree and wanting to transfer to get his bachelor's, but I don't know, maybe he was working on it while he was on his mission or something? And the other person replies, that's good. Awkward is much more manageable. Sometimes people will do a year of college before their mission. I think less guys do now that the age for guys is lowered to 18, but there are some that probably still do since not everyone goes right at 18. Most are 18 to 19, but some are in their 20s, so he may have done that. He also might have graduated high school with college credits. I started college with like 20 credits for my AP classes. Would have graduated early had I not drastically changed my major after a year and a half. So, this is interesting. I actually didn't know that about BYU. I mean, I know a bit about the whole Mormon thing, because I watch a lot of other, like, atheist YouTubers, especially, like, Jimmy Snow, who was, raised and all that, and has kind of, like, a background, and talks about his past quite, a bit. I'm not an authority, obviously. I'm just some guy on the internet. But that is pretty fascinating. That does explain the whole thing. But also there is that whole thing, be faithful and see what happens. Yeah, I've heard that before. On the other hand, I was raised Catholic, and big shock, I'm an atheist, right? So I learned a lot of stuff about how you're supposed to, quote-unquote, go about a relationship. And one of the ideas is that even if you're not officially dating, you should always just, as soon as you make that personal connection, that first connection, always be faithful and never so much as talk to somebody else. And that was probably why he kept going off about, there's no girls, like really trying to push that connection. But he does seem like the kind of guy who was raised in a pretty devout way, if that's the mentality. And I don't know about neckbeard or nice guy, but the Mormon mentality is very much there. The religious mindset is very much there, which is also pretty fucking awkward, especially from the outside. See, when you're not a part of that group, everything seems weird. And that goes for a lot of things, not just Mormon stuff in general, but for pretty much anybody. Everything that isn't a part of your particular experience does seem strange. But the question here is, is he a nice guy or possibly worse? Is this something dangerous? I don't really think so. I kind of agree with OP that he's probably just some really awkward dude who doesn't really know what he's doing, and was hoping that the first attractive woman he met, even if it was on the internet, was going to have the same kind of connective ideas that he did. Clearly she did not. So, there's that. So, yeah, I guess that's going to be it for this video. If you have anything to, I don't know where I was going with that, but you should like, comment, subscribe. If you have anything you'd like to share with me, that's where I was going with it. You should send it to my subreddit, r/Moonhorse Stories. Also, you should check out my Ko-Fi, which is like Patreon, but, way cooler. And you should check out my merch store, which is like everybody else's merch store as a YouTube channel, but mine's fucking awesome. I mean, I'll just say it. I don't care. It's true. Did you think there's going to be an extra point there? Because there's not. It just is. These are just facts. Anyway, I also stream on the weekends, Friday through Sunday. Not consecutively, but every night. You should come check that out. It's like this, but not at all like this. So, I don't know where I'm going with this outro. I'm just going to stop now. So I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.